News. This is breaking news.
Good afternoon. I'm Karen Swenson. We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you breaking news from federal court. Just minutes ago, a grand jury handed up an indictment against Grammy Award-winning New Orleans musician Irvin Mayfield. Eyewitness investigator David Hammer has been looking into questionable dealings involving Mayfield for years now. David Hammer joins us live from federal court with the details. And David, I know you just got your hands on that indictment a moment ago.
That's right, Karen. I got it right here. Like you said, this is a moment that's several years in the making. Irvin Mayfield, who became a symbol of recovery after Hurricane Katrina, is now allegedly a symbol of corruption and conspiracy. The charges are one count of conspiracy against Irvin Mayfield and his longtime business partner and childhood friend, Ronald Markham, for their role in running the New Orleans Jazz Orchestra while also serving on the board of the New Orleans Public Library Foundation, which received public library donations from the public to try to help the libraries recover after the storm, and redirected that money to their jazz orchestra and other nonprofits that Mayfield controlled. There was one count of conspiracy, 3 counts of wire fraud, 1 count of money laundering conspiracy, 11 counts of money laundering, and 1 count of obstruction of justice. That's 19 total federal counts handed up today by this grand jury.
Was Mayfield in court, and if so, what was his reaction?
No, Mayfield was not in court today, Karen. This was a secret grand jury proceeding. It was sealed until the grand jury returned the indictment. They handed it up, and it was brought down to the clerk's office and processed. We grabbed a copy of it immediately as soon as it was processed, and it involves more than $1 million in transfers. I'm still trying to digest the specifics, but we've already detailed in years of reports that he ended up transferring $1.1 million in library donations from the Public Library Foundation to the jazz orchestra that he created and ran as a board member and as artistic director, and that his partner Ronald Markham was the executive director of during that time. They both served on the 5-member board, and they ended up transferring the money. There were transfers also to another nonprofit called the Youth Rescue Initiative, which Mayfield was serving on the board of, and also had a whole account that he controlled that was called the Irvin account. And he used that money in some cases to buy trumpets. In other cases, he used money from the New Orleans Public Library Foundation to do business that had nothing to do with the libraries, including a trip to New York City that I detailed in some detail last year, where he spent over $18,000 for a week stay at the Ritz-Carlton, New York, in New York City.
And David, now if you can explain to folks how he used the money from the public library, transferred it somehow over to the New Orleans Jazz Orchestra, and then collected really big salaries, right? Both he and Ronald Markham.
That's right, Karen. Both he and Markham received 6-figure salaries from the New Orleans Jazz Orchestra. And so the money that came from the Public Library Foundation didn't necessarily go directly to paying those salaries. Those are part of their salaries already. But in the allegations in the indictment, it talks about him causing there to be paid money that was originally public library donation money to go to his production company, Mayfield Productions, and also to go to the Youth Rescue Initiative, which was this other nonprofit that he was a part of, and would use it to pay Nojo's expenses, and also to pay for hotel rooms at the Park Central Hotel in New York, and the Ritz-Carlton in New York, as I described earlier.
And I know he has never accepted a request for an interview from you, but let me read briefly from a statement that Mr. Mayfield released in 2016. I do not believe that I have violated any law. If I played a role in creating a distraction from Nojo's mission, that would be the New Orleans Jazz Orchestra's mission, I sincerely apologize. I respect all those who may not agree with my past direction or personal judgment. As I recognize their passion as well, we did not anticipate the misunderstandings and resulting opposition that has been wrought upon ourselves and those who have supported us. Those the comments from Irvin Mayfield in 2016. I know you've got a lot on your plate and you are going to be reporting for us at 5, 6, and 10. David Hammer reporting on the indictment that was just handed up against jazz musician Irvin Mayfield. And they talk about a fall from grace. Dave, as you alluded to, he was a hero post-Katrina, now known for alleged corruption. Again, we'll have much more on this story coming up at 5, 6, and 10 on WWL-TV, as well as on our website, WWLTV.com, and on our social media. Also, briefly, we're going to have more on another breaking story, and that would be the final report from the legislative auditor on Mike Edmondson, the former head of the state police. Katie Moore, our other investigative reporter, has been reporting extensively on Edmondson for the last couple of nights and weeks and months. And we'll have much more on that coming up this evening. A big news day. For now, though, we will return you to your regularly scheduled program.